Where did this come from with Ed Orgeron and LSU? We know, obviously, the losing, but is there something else behind the scenes that we're missing where this takes place?
No, I think the biggest thing, honestly, is he didn't win enough. It's the AD who is there now. Scott Woodward is a guy who loves to make flashy hires. Scott Woodward is not the AD who hired LSU. He took over right before the national title season in 2019. I think what really hurt Orgeron as much as anything was he made some bad coordinator hires. He made some really good ones to help him win the national title, and then the ones after that didn't work out. Bo Pelini as the defensive coordinator last year was a disastrous hire, and then he was on a hot seat, and he went with two younger first-time play callers who have done an okay job, but there's been some growing pains. And Orgeron did not have much margin for error. National title or not, a year ago, he did not have much margin for error, and I think that has cost them. And so, I think it's really as simple as that. He just did not win enough in the last 18 months after winning a national title.
Okay, so then now what? I mean, and why is he sticking around the rest of the season? They just figure that's better. If he agrees to stick around, then it's better than just putting an interim in there, or, I mean.
Yeah, I think, remember, he's getting $17 million to walk away. So this is a school, this was his dream school growing up. He obviously is a native of Louisiana. And
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I know. He sounds like he's from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly, right.
He ended up, feeling like, okay, I want to still coach my team and ride this out, and so we'll see where it goes from there. But I think at this point, this was the solution that they had worked out over the last week or so, that he would stay on to finish out the year. I'm not sure what an interim would have done for them. I mean, at one point, I remember having the conversation with him, and this is before they beat Florida last weekend, was like, hey, what happens if you go on a little roll? Do you think that gets you, off the hot seat? And he was like, no, they want to go in a different direction. He knew what was going on, before obviously everything came out Sunday, whether they beat Florida, which they did, and even if they beat Ole Miss, even if they somehow were to knock off Alabama, the leadership at LSU had already decided we want a new guy in there. And so that's the direction.
Okay. And so, I read your story. I don't want to cannibalize it. You do what you wish to share whatever you wish on The Athletic. I saw the photograph of Jimbo Fisher on Twitter, which I'll be honest, led me to also click on it. Like, really? Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher? That's the guy that they're going to try and target?
Rich, keep in mind, the guy who hired Jimbo Fisher away from Florida State is Scott Woodward when he was the AD there. So he has a relationship. He was also the guy who got Chris Peterson to leave Boise to go to Washington when he was the AD at Washington. So he has a track record. I mean, even his women's basketball coach now, Kim Mulkey, won national titles at Baylor. He signed her. So I think, from what my reporting is, he's already had a conversation with Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher sounds like he's, not going to make this jump at this point. He has no buyout, though, at A&M. He could leave without penalty. It's just, he's already got 4 years in at Texas A&M trying to build a foundation there. I'm not sure, why he would make the move to LSU in that case. I was told by another source close to Scott Woodward that he was going to take a big swing and see if Dabo Swinney had any interest. Dabo Swinney only has a $3 million buyout, but he's in the ACC where there's no Alabama and there's no Kirby Smart in Georgia recruiting like they are. So when you're in Clemson, you're dominant, built to dominate there. Now they're having a down year, but still, I'd be surprised if he was tempted to leave. I understand Scott Woodward wants big name hires. I know the new president at LSU really likes James Franklin at Penn State. He coached in the SEC, did a terrific job at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt used to be awful. Then he got there and got him in the top 25 a couple seasons. Then he left, and Vanderbilt went back to being awful. I don't know if James Franklin would be tempted to leave Penn State for LSU. I don't know if he'd be tempted to leave Penn State for USC, but he's definitely got some interest. And then the name that we reported this weekend, Mel Tucker. He's at your rival school, Michigan State, done a really nice job there. A lot of key people at LSU are very enamored with him, I'm told. So would he make that move? Would he be a big enough, it's a little bit of a gamble because this is the first year in 3 years as a head coach that Mel Tucker's going to have a winning season. People are really impressed with him, but is that a big enough name for them? I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.
Well, I mean, Michigan State has sent a head coach to LSU before, right? I mean, that's happened. It kind of worked out.
Worked out to be a good hire for them.
I'm referring to Nick Saban. And so, yeah, I mean, I have no problem if Mel Tucker wants to take that job. I'll be very happy if that happens. I mean,
get him out of the state, right? You got to pull him a little. You want him away from
No doubt. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.